Of the Hive, Chapter 7, Part 2. Applejack glowered at the sullen Pegasus.
Expect it or not, Rainbow Dash, those eggs are her family. I would have thought that you would have known better than to attack some pony's family like that.
Rainbow Dash stood there, silently, and AJ turned to the others.
Come on, y'all, we need to show Twilight that most of us are more understanding.
Rarity lingered long enough to speak to Rainbow where the others couldn't hear.
You bring up a good point, Dash, but you need to learn some tact.
She angrily kicked at the ground.
Yeah, I'll work on that, right after I learn how to keep my hoof out of my mouth.
Rarity opened her mouth, but thought better of it, and chased after Applejack. Spike rode on Applejack's back as they chased after Twilight. Even with her drone disguise, she was easy to spot with a towel on her back. Before long, Spike spotted the purple changeling.
She's over there, AJ.
Applejack bolted towards Twilight, who was trotting along on the ground at a slow pace. Her wings were flared to keep her eggs from falling.
Hey, Sugar Cube, wait a sec!
Applejack had half expected Twilight to lash out, but all she got was a depressed look.
Hey, AJ. Listen, you know how Dash can get. She's just looking out for you.
Yeah,
Spike chimed in.
Dash is too tense for her own good sometimes.
Applejack shot him a sour glance.
Thanks, guys. I was really hoping to spend some time with you, but then this happened, and now you guys think I'm weird.
Rarity moved to Twilight's other side.
I'll admit I was put off by the whole thing, and for that I must apologize. I told myself after that catastrophe with Sakura that I wouldn't let such preconceptions color my actions. But there I was doing precisely that. Can you ever forgive me?
Twilight gave a weak smile and nuzzled her alabaster friend.
Of course, Rarity. I'm just glad to have my friends back.
Pinky leapt forward to start bouncing backwards in front of Twilight's.
And we really need to throw you a new mommy party. It'll be even better than the one I threw for Mr. and Mrs. Cake because you have 4 instead of 2.
Twilight inwardly cringed.
Yeah, 4 for now. No, I'll think about that later. Right now I need to spend time with my friends. I don't know when I'll get another chance to come back to Ponyville.
If you wish, I can take the eggs to the incubator,
Interjected Ratchet.
That'll give you time to catch up.
No, I want to bring my first clutch to the incubator myself, but I appreciate the offer.
Twilight spent the long walk to the train yard catching up with her friends. Most of the townsfolk cast the mixed group a curious eye, but largely left them alone. The 6 mares were known to have unusual acquaintances. The scant few changelings kept a respectful distance as well. Fluttershy returned around the same time the group arrived at the first set of tracks.
So sorry about that, but I needed to do a bit of grocery shopping.
Spike voiced the shared question.
Kind of an odd time, don't you think?
Well, it's just that I thought it would be difficult to...
Pinky interrupted by pointing at the train car they were closing in on.
Oh, is that it?
2 female caretakers approached the group. The one on the left felt it would be rude to speak via the link with so many non-changelings around.
I can take your eggs off your hooves for you, Twilight.
She waved her off.
I'd rather do it myself, for the first clutch at least.
Her friends, save Ratchet and Fluttershy, raised an eyebrow at the word first. The lead caretaker nodded her compliance and gestured towards the incubator.
I must ask that every pony else remain outside.
Twilight's friends looked miffed as Fluttershy cautiously walked up to Twilight's side.
I can be really gentle and out of the way. Could I please see? But if you don't want to, that's okay.
Twilight wrapped a foreleg around her canary yellow friend.
Fluttershy is one of the best caretakers I know. I think it would be a great idea if she could tag along.
The female drones were wary.
Twilight, an incubator is sensitive technology. Only caretakers and royals are ever allowed in.
Fluttershy squirmed under the pressure.
Oh, okay then.
Twilight narrowed her eyes.
I trust Fluttershy with my life and the life of my children. Is that not enough?
The second caretaker sent her companion a request to be silent as she took over.
Of course, Twilight. We're just not used to letting any pony see an incubator from the inside.
Twilight followed after the second caretaker.
I understand, but we are trying to become stronger allies with Equestria, are we not? Absolutely.
The second caretaker agreed. The interior of the mobile incubator was clean and well lit. The entire front third of the compartment was composed of machinery, while the rest of the car was filled with empty glass tubes that had more than enough room for an egg. The first 4 tubes were being filled with an orange liquid solution. Fluttershy was surprised by the complexity of it all. The first caretaker pointed towards the machinery.
This is the primary environmental control suite that takes care of temperature and supplies nutrients via the pipes along the floor and ceiling. This model even allows mass love feeding by either crystal or through your horn if you wish.
The second caretaker manipulated several levers and dials to make the machine stop filling the 4 tubes.
Each egg will remain here until it's ready to hatch, or can be moved to the hatchery in stripped gear, during which time you can employ alchemy to change the drone to your liking.
Fluttershy gave a quizzical hum while Twilight spoke.
Is that necessary for every egg? I don't believe so, but it is not my place to say. Regardless, your first clutch will be very capable as they are.
The second caretaker explained while she removed the lid on the filled incubator tubes.
Everything looks to be in order. All that's left now is to place each egg in a tube.
Twilight craned her head around, cradled her 4 eggs in her magic, and gave 1 to each mare present while keeping 1 for herself.
Fluttershy, would you like to place one?
Fluttershy gently grasped the small purple egg.
I'd love to, Twilight, but I think you should be the first to place an egg.
Nodding, Twilight carefully levitated her egg and placed it inside the incubator. The painstakingly tailored solution suspended the egg right in the center of the liquid. Twilight was barely aware of the others doing the same as she glanced around the rest of the room.
There are over 200 incubators in here. I can't believe Bethesda thinks I'm going to lay every day.
She gazed back over all the glass incubators with renewed panic.
Then again, there wouldn't be so many incubators if it wasn't true.
It was in that moment when the ramifications of there being 4,000 drones within the hive struck her.
By Celestia, Bethesda laid that many, plus no telling how many more since her first time. I'm going to be like her one day. A mother to thousands, tens of thousands.
The caretakers could feel Twilight's distress, and Fluttershy noticed it too. She rested a comforting hoof on Twilight's withers.
I have a feeling you're going to make a great queen, Twilight. You really don't mind? Even if I'm so alien now?
The caretakers backed away to let them have some space, while Fluttershy wrapped her friend in a hug.
Oh, Twilight, your body may be different, but you're still you where it counts. You're still a good pony. It doesn't matter if you're a changeling or a parasprite or a mule. I'll always be your friend.
Twilight's eyes misted over, and she returned the hug.
Thank you, Fluttershy. I needed that.
Fluttershy let Twilight cry away the stress and anxiety, while gently patting her purple friend on the back. While silenced, the 2 caretakers watched on with amusement.
Intriguing. She's able to comfort Twilight without the use of the link. Do you think this technique might raise nymphs more effective, especially if they're Twilights? It is certainly worth investigating. I'll notify the hatchery staff and stripped gear once. In the meantime, we should tend to our duties. This is a critical time for her, and we can't afford a single failed egg. Right, of course.
As the young caretaker began to work, she kept stealing glances at the 2 friends embracing each other.
These equestrians have such a strange power, and they don't even seem to realize it.
Twilight sobbed into Fluttershy's fur for 5 minutes before her stomach growled loudly enough to startle the Pegasus. Twilight's cheeks flushed, and she rubbed the back of her neck while glancing at her eggs.
Sorry, I guess I worked up an appetite. Oh, I understand. In fact...
She started rooting around in her saddlebags and withdrew a lumpy mound wrapped in a brown wax bag.
Ratchet told me your Hive are omnivores, so I went down to the local griffin merchant and bought some choice cuts for you and Ratchet. I was going to cook my mother's famous Magnivorous recipe to celebrate. I didn't know that you knew how to cook griffin dishes.
Fluttershy put the meat back in her bags.
Well, Rainbow Dash's mom and my mother always got along with the griffins who came to visit Cloudsdale. And they're carnivores, so she learned how to cook for them. She taught me some basic recipes.
Twilight smiled.
I'm sure it'll taste wonderful.
They hugged one last time before departing, and found Rainbow Dash standing outside, alone. Were it not for the apologetic look on the Pegasus's face, Twilight would have brushed past her.
I'm sorry for jumping on you, Twilight.
Blurted out Rainbow Dash before Twilight could speak.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that.
Twilight pointed towards a nearby passenger car.
Why don't we talk in there so I don't need my disguise?
Rainbow nodded slowly and flew over, while Twilight told the nearby drones to give them some space.
Fluttershy, I'll see you at the library later, okay? Okay, I need to get some spices from home anyway. See you later, Twilight.
Twilight followed Rainbow Dash inside, before dropping her disguise.
Look, Twilight, I'm sorry I called you a bug and razzed on you for the whole egg thing. It wears me out to see you laying eggs is all, you know?
Twilight's face fell, and she pawed at the floor.
It's alright, Dash. It's not easy for me to accept either, but brainwashed or not, those eggs came from me, and I'm responsible for them.
Get to the point, Rainbow.
She growled at herself.
No, it's not alright. I'm better than this. I was friends with all kinds of non-ponies before moving to Ponyville. This shouldn't work me up so much. Rainbow.
Twilight said cautiously, but the Pegasus was beginning to rant.
All that should matter now is that you're still you, but...
She hung her head in defeat.
It isn't! I just can't look past it!
Twilight bit her lip as tears started falling from Rainbow, and she looked at her with steel in her eyes.
That's why I'm going with you.
Twilight's plummeting mood halted in an instant.
What do you mean going with me? You're my friend, Twilight, and I can't stand having prejudice towards you just because you're a changeling. Rainbow, you can't help that.
She ignored Twilight's justifications.
No, you're wrong. Just because you're different on the outside and what Chrysalis did doesn't excuse it. Not to me. That's why I'm going with you when you return to the Hive. You really would come back with me?
Rainbow puffed her chest out at seeing Twilight's hopeful expression.
Of course I would. I'm the element of loyalty, remember? What about everybody else in town?
Rainbow's ego flattened a little.
Twi, when I heard about what happened to you and how the only way to save your life was to turn you into a changeling, it made me realize something. My dream to become a Wonderbolt would take me on tours all over Equestria. I might not see you guys for weeks or months. Rarity always wanted to open up a shop in Camelot one day, and she'll be gone for most of the time when that happens. Even if you were still a unicorn, there's no telling where your studies with Celestia would have taken you. What are you trying to say, Rainbow? I don't know!
Dash replied, frustrated.
All I know is, at some point, you're going to go back with the rest of the changelings, aren't you?
Twilight nodded slowly.
I'm a proto-queen now, and I won't be able to stop laying eggs until I've fully matured, and I can't care for hatchlings in Equestria. Then that's just another reason for me to go. I need to get over my prejudice, and you need some pony around to let you know that you always have a home back in Equestria. It's a win-win. You really would do that for me?
With a huge smile and tears of joy, Twilight wrapped her friend in a tight hug.
Thank you, Rainbow, thank you!
Rainbow felt this was a time she could indulge in a sentimental moment, and hugged her friend in return. For a little bit, anyway.
Yeah, enough of the sappiness already. I need to tell the weather team I'll be leaving for a while and all that. I'll see you at dinner, right?
Twilight wiped a stubborn tear away.
Yeah, Fluttershy's going to be cooking dinner tonight at the library. Awesome. I'll help her out if she's dishing up something good. See you then.
I was a little worried that Twilight and Rainbow wouldn't be able to make up, but here they are doing it. Now let's get on to our super kind donators. Top donators are 630, Peter Coulthard, J Tinman, Darkside, Only One Thing, and Dash of Evergreen. Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel Skies, Austin Rollins, Crazy Color 557, Stu Hex, Sword Brother Emerged, Omicron Library, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Hadzaza, Riot Soul, Maverick, and many more fantastic people. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and live life to the fullest.